All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is August 1st, 2025, and my name is Brian Bretschneider. I'm a senior seasonal forecaster for the National Weather Service Alaska region, and we're going to be talking about our extended outlook. All right, so let's go on this ride together. So let's first talk about how we've done for the month of July. And in July, most places were a little bit warmer than normal. So except for the maybe the middle and lower Kuskokwim River areas, the majority of the state was, say, in the 1 to even as much as 3 degrees warmer than normal. Now 3 degrees, you know, in the winter months isn't a whole lot, but in summer 3 degrees is pretty substantially above normal. So the area, say from Bettles to Adigan Pass and even up in a little bit in the Sag River Basin, 2 or so degrees warmer than normal. Same with the eastern interior and down towards Cordova, and really all southeast Alaska was about 1 degree warmer than normal. It's not shown here, but for the June-July period, the statewide average was about 3 or 4/10 of a degree warmer than normal. Now, of more notable concern is the precipitation departure from normal. So for the entire area south of the Alaska Range, from Talkeetna, Anchorage, even over, say, toward King Salmon, and then over toward Cordova, Yakutat, all the Kenai Peninsula, pretty dry, from maybe half or even less the normal July precipitation. Now, that we made some ground up in the last day or two, especially in the Anchorage area, but still pretty dry. And that extends to some degree all the way down to southeast Alaska. So from Juneau, Sitka, Ketchikan, a drier than normal month, and not a whole lot of green on this map. So green areas, in the Fairbanks area in general, the lower Kuskokwim Delta, a little bit wetter than normal, but for the most part, July 2025 is a drier than normal month. All right, so let's talk about our 8 to 14 day outlook. So this is going to cover, and we call this week 2. This is going to cover the August 8th through 14th time period. And we've got a little bit of a change if you've been following these for the last week or so. We're replacing a lot of these warm colors with some below normal temperatures. And so for the area, you see, Brooks Range, Arctic Circle northward, we got hints of an Arctic trough that's going to be dropping down from much higher latitudes and dragging some colder air down with it. And these warmer than normal areas are kind of getting squeezed into the southeastern part of the mainland. Now remember, these are probabilistic forecasts. So when you see blue, that doesn't mean it's definitely going to be cooler than normal. That means the probability is greatest for below normal. But you can see here, say for Kotzebue, we're looking at, say, 37% chance, or this is Nome and Kotzebue, 37% chance of below normal temperatures, but still 30% chance it's going to be above normal. So don't be surprised if it is above normal, but the favored outcome is below normal. Same thing here in South Central. We're looking at, say, 36% chance, even some of these darker oranges, maybe like 40% chance of above normal, but still about a 30% chance that will end up being below normal. So again, probabilistic. Same thing for the week 2, days 8 to 14 precipitation outlook, but in this case, the favored category is wetter than normal everywhere, with the highest chances of being wetter than normal from Anchorage to the southeastern interior, and then all the way down through all of southeast Alaska. There are hints of what we call an atmospheric river that might impact southeast Alaska, say around August 12th, 13th, and that might coincide with the expected release of the glacial outburst flood in southeast Alaska. So something to keep an eye on. For the monthly time period, the Climate Prediction Center did their end of the month outlook. They released this on Thursday, on the last day of the month. And this is a little bit different than the mid-month outlook that came out about 2 weeks ago. Now we're looking at kind of above normal from the southern half of the mainland with a highest probabilities centered in south central Alaska, the Kenai Peninsula, and Kodiak Island. And now a hint of some below normal temperatures along the North Slope with that Arctic trough. Some of the models, particularly in the third week of August, show pretty cold up there with even some snow possibly, and then moderating the fourth week. So, but that's kind of far out, so a lot of uncertainty there, but just a slight tilt toward cooler than normal. But again, this is a probabilistic forecast. All options are on the table, but these are the favored outcomes. Now, interestingly, over the last 50 or so years, there's been a trend toward some cooler temperatures here in the North Slope. And this is really the largest area of blue on any of these maps for any month of the year, largely driven by changes in precipitation that coincide with rapidly diminishing solar radiation. So not really a trend toward necessarily colder air, but trend toward the factors that can limit warming kind of have coalesced during the August time period up there. So kind of interesting. As you can see over the last, this is a long-term time series for Alaska over the last 85 years, how we've done the month of August. And we do see this trend line is increasing. The last few years, we've seen a lot of kind of almost really every year, we've kind of bounced around between warmer and cooler. Last year was kind of a coolest August, so we'll see what this one brings. Now, interestingly, August is not the second warmest month of the year, like it is almost every place else in the lower 48, but August in Alaska is the third warmest month of the year. It lags behind June. So June is the second warmest, July is the warmest, and August is the third warmest. And we see that as a result of the rapidly diminishing solar radiation, as well as rapidly increasing cloud coverage and precipitation as compared to, say, June. For the monthly precipitation outlook, we looked at temperature, monthly precipitation outlook, we see this dry to wet signal from northwest to southeast. And southeast Alaska is moving in toward their wettest time of the year in August, whereas the mainland is firmly in their wettest time of the year in August. So a potentially fairly dry signal here in the northwestern quarter of the state compared to what we would expect climatologically. Now, very interestingly, there's been a dramatic increase in precipitation all across the state in the month of August over the last 50 years. A 37% increase if we look at this total, again, since the mid-1970s. And it really is the case everywhere, with a few real hot spots in southeast Alaska and the central interior. So if you like rain and you think, okay, August we're gearing up toward the wettest time of the year, it has really changed a lot in the last few decades. I think this is the month that has the greatest increase or change in monthly precipitation. And you can see over the last few years here, especially maybe 7 or 8 of the last 10 or 11 years have been really, really wet. Now here's where that time series, that trend series started. We had a pretty dry, say 20-year period from the 1960s through the 1970s. And since then, we've really taken off in terms of our precipitation. We can still have some pretty dry Augusts, but especially here over the last decade, wet Augusts are the rule, not the norm. And if we look to see what the wettest month of the year is, any place here on this map that's in dark blue, August is the wettest month of the year. Even the light blue, the cyan, the second wettest month of the year. Now, southeast Alaska, August still is, we're still ramping up toward the real wet time of the year, which is fall. But you're heading in that direction, even in southeast Alaska. All right, well, that's what I've got for this time. I appreciate everyone hanging in there for the full 10 minutes here, and I look forward to doing this again. Feel free to leave any comments below or send in any questions if you have clarification on anything or requesting additional information. Thank you so much.